I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Joe Rogan and Katt Williams have stirred the conversation again. But this time, the focus isn't on who appeared in the Epstein Files, it's on who didn't. And if the Maves they're hinting at were deliberately scrubbed, then what was released may only be a partial version of the truth. One name that immediately resurfaced in this discussion is Diddy. And for anyone who's been paying attention to how elite circles operate behind closed doors, that shouldn't come as a shock. As the Epstein documents continue to unravel layer by layer, the question has shifted from simple appearances in paperwork to patterns of proximity. Who consistently moves within the same spaces where power, secrecy, and influence intersect? When those connections are traced, Diddy's name keeps re-entering the conversation, especially amid growing speculation that his private island scenes existed within the same regional and social ecosystem as Epstein's network. And while Ali Carter's emotional breakdowns and cryptic online statements are often dismissed at first glance, listening closely to her claims over time makes them harder to ignore. She has repeatedly suggested she was present in elite environments connected to Diddy and other powerful figures. Spaces she claims weren't centered on music or networking, but on access, leverage, and control.
What does that mean?
It's a party favor. That was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set
I set
on a table, like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them,
Yep.
and they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, they put on the table instead of gift bags, and then people can do what?
Take you off the table.
What unsettles many observers is how closely her accounts resemble the tightly controlled environments described in Epstein-related investigations, spaces where privacy wasn't optional, but essential for the entire system to operate. And once you factor in that both Diddy and Epstein maintained private island properties within overlapping regions, it inevitably leads people to ask uncomfortable questions about whether those worlds were ever truly separate, or if they quietly existed within the same hidden network.
But again, see, he's in cahoots with Epstein. And then...
Was he in cahoots with Epstein, or was it just a similar type of an operation?
No, they were friends.
Really?
Yeah, because Epstein had on Miami as well, that really private, rich estate in Miami, so they were all in cahoots as well.
That line of thinking feeds into a larger speculation now circulating, whether the same pipelines and private ecosystems quietly overlapped in ways no one publicly acknowledged at the time, especially when you consider how Jeffrey Epstein's operation depended on insulation and silence, while Sean Combs' social world was built on extreme exclusivity far outside public scrutiny. Both systems relied on discretion, and discretion at that level often rests on unspoken understandings among powerful participants. Another name now entering the conversation is Oprah Winfrey, and her inclusion has reignited intense debate online. Her proximity to influential figures has long been central to her brand, but that same closeness has drawn renewed scrutiny whenever controversy surrounds those she once publicly supported. Critics have revisited her well-documented praise of Harvey Weinstein prior to his downfall, noting that when survivors later called for outspoken allies, her response remained remained cautious rather than confrontational. To some, that restraint reflects the difficult calculus of elite loyalty, where influence can make direct confrontation costly. When you add the resurfaced criticism tied to leadership scandals at her South African school, the narrative shifts from isolated incidents to a broader question: whether elite alliances shape how power responds when serious accusations surface.
Prosecutors say former dorm matron Tina Virginia Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls. She's also accused of kicking and hitting some of them. Makopo pleaded innocent to 14 charges of indecent assault and criminal injury in South Africa.
I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my...
But lingering questions remain, not about direct wrongdoing, but about whether institutional power sometimes values stability over transparency when reputations and legacies are on the line. The next name drawing attention is Stevie J, whose long history with Bad Boy Records places him squarely within the same creative and social orbit that shaped Sean Combs' rise. His continued public loyalty has sparked scrutiny, particularly following claims referenced in civil filings that suggest he may have played coordinating roles at private gatherings. While nothing has been legally proven, the consistency of his defense has led some observers to question whether loyalty in these circles is purely personal or whether it's rooted in shared history and mutual dependence that isn't easily abandoned.
Out with Diddy in his mansion in Miami, and Homeland Security rushes in while you're there.
While I'm there, Dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With the, he has some employees there. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So suddenly there's red dots all over your shirt.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got to just see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop being there for someone I consider to be a friend to me.
As you should.
I'm not going to turn my back. And it's like, I've been scrutinized just by being a friend. I guess someone never had a true friend.
Then there's Ashton Kutcher, whose name keeps resurfacing whenever conversations shift toward who moved within the same private social circles that surrounded Sean Combs. Old footage of Kutcher appearing comfortable in those environments has taken on a very different tone in hindsight, especially as public scrutiny around elite gatherings has intensified. His noticeably uneasy responses in later interviews have only fueled speculation that those settings may have been more complicated than they once appeared. Add to that his past public support for controversial figures like Danny Masterson, and people have begun questioning how loyalty functions inside Hollywood's tightly guarded inner circles. When pressed about his proximity to these high-powered social scenes, Kutcher appeared to hesitate, stumble over his words, and avoid specifics, leaving many to wonder whether some stories were intentionally left untold.
Stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man. That was like some weird memory.
Next up is Naomi Campbell, whose decades-long presence at the intersection of fashion, entertainment, and global wealth places her within the same elite social corridors often discussed in connection with Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Combs. For years, rumors have circulated suggesting she may have been more than a casual attendee within certain high-powered circles, with some observers drawing loose comparisons to the role Ghislaine Maxwell was later accused of playing. Critics point to Campbell's remarkable career longevity and continued access to elite spaces as an example of how proximity to powerful figures can offer a degree of insulation from controversy. While she has publicly acknowledged knowing Epstein and has firmly denied any knowledge of wrongdoing, those statements have not fully silenced questions, especially given her well-documented social closeness to Diddy over multiple decades.
The negative and say this is a vanity charity. There's no vanity about it.
Do you think it's fair to draw you into the Charles Taylor story when you were only a witness? After all, the picture they used clearly shows someone cropped from it. Presume that was President Mandela?
Yes, I do think it's unfair. For me, it's a distorted piece of journalism, and I do love great journalism. But this is a direct character assassination. and it belongs in like an Orwell book.
Another name that's resurfaced is Will Smith, whose long-standing, polished public image has made the return of insider accounts especially jarring. A former associate known as Brother Bilal has publicly claimed he witnessed moments that sharply conflicted with the persona Smith has carefully maintained for decades. While those allegations have never been tested in court and remain unproven, what's caught public attention is the lack of legal follow-up despite repeated public statements. That silence hasn't brought clarity. It's only fueled speculation, leaving questions unanswered rather than settled.
All right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second. Who was on top?
It wasn't a top. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up. Like, it was...
Okay. What did you do?
I froze. What do you, see, I'm not used to seeing... Listen, it's traumatizing. Like, I've never seen it. I don't watch... You know, I never seen a man and another man.
Oh, Will Smith was bent over.
And Dwayne was killing him.
Condom?
I don't know. I don't.
You didn't look that close.
Listen, even when I was with the deer and headlights, and I finally said, "Oh shit," and they turned around and said, "Close the fucking door," right? So I back out the door. I'm not going in there. No, I ain't going up in there. I back out the door, lock the door, I leave.
You called her a dope fiend.
Yeah, I called her bald-headed dope fiend without question. I told her she better sue me because
she said to TMZ when they asked her when she left the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
She looked. They was like, well, "What do you got to say?" And she was like, "We're suing. We're suing." And I was just like, "Okay."
Right.
That's been about 2 years.
Yeah,
and we haven't gotten a lawsuit.
Jaguar Wright has echoed similar concerns, arguing that mentorship structures within elite circles can quietly transform into systems where influence is used as leverage rather than genuine guidance or support.
I'm gonna send him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present.
And when you factor in the stories surrounding younger figures like Bryce Gray and August Alsina, both of whom experienced major personal and professional upheaval after entering powerful social circles, the conversation shifts away from isolated choices and toward broader, systemic patterns that repeat themselves within elite environments.
Sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership that they've spoken on several times, and it, not involving romanticism. Mm-hmm. He gave me his blessing, and I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
The streets speculate that Will may have absorbed mentorship lessons from figures like Diddy, learning how influence can protect reputations while quietly steering careers from behind the scenes. Next in the conversation is Jay-Z, and this is where things heat up. His name surfaced in archived FBI tips connected to Epstein, sparking renewed debate. According to one woman, she awoke at what she believed was an Epstein-owned property in the mid-1990s, claiming that Jay-Z was present alongside Harvey Weinstein. At the time, Jay-Z was still climbing the ranks of the music industry, making the allegation particularly striking in retrospect. Importantly, His name does not appear in flight logs or personal records, and the Department of Justice has stressed that these were unverified submissions rather than confirmed findings. Yet public perception often moves beyond legal proof, and the reemergence of his name has brought renewed attention to a dismissed 2024 lawsuit linking him to allegations involving Diddy's circle. Though that case fell apart, its memory ensured the narrative never fully disappeared. Enter Kanye West, whose long-running commentary on hidden hierarchies, handlers, and gatekeepers in entertainment now resonates more than ever. He has long argued that some figures remain shielded until enough pressure forces the system to recalibrate. With each new name that surfaces, his warnings take on a new significance.
And Pusha T, they made their living our people, so how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much.
When you step back and examine how these names intersect through shared environments, social alliances, and overlapping mentorship pathways, a clearer picture starts to emerge. This isn't about proving guilt in a courtroom. It's about understanding how networks of influence can operate in the shadows while maintaining pristine public images. With ongoing investigations slowly unsealing documents, many believe the redacted portions of the Epstein Files could still reveal additional figures whose connections haven't yet been scrutinized. The street has been buzzing with speculation that future disclosures may reshape how these alliances are perceived. Online, users are loud and opinionated. One wrote, "So-called celebs and elites are dark and shady," while another pointed out, "Didn't Katt Williams mention this on Shannon's show? He said this was coming." The pressing question becomes whether these recurring overlaps are mere coincidence or part of a deeper system where power decides who is investigated and who remains protected. As more information surfaces, the street wonders which relationships will survive sustained scrutiny once more names are revealed. Are these ties just the byproduct of shared social circles, or do they hint at a structure designed to shield the most valuable members until the pressure is too intense to ignore? And when the unredacted files finally come to light, which figures will the public reassess next as the full story unfolds?